Welcome. So we will read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana, written by Srila Vyasadeva after his maturity in devotional practice. He wrote this Amla Bhagavatam, the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So we will read from 3rd canto, chapter 21, text 23. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Puraiva Samayojitat Puraiva Samayojitat Yad Artham Atmani Yamais Yad Artham Atmani Yamais Tvaya Vaham Samarchita Tvaya Vaham Samarchita Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Puraiva Samayojitat Yad Artham Atmani Yamais Tvayavaham Samarjita Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Puraiva Samayojitat Yad Artham Atmani Yamais Tvayavaham Samarjita
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Viditva Tava Chaityam Me
Viditva Tava Chaityam Me
Puraiva Samayojita
Puraiva Samayojitat
Tat Artam Atman Yamais
Yadartham
Atman Yamais
Tvayaivaham Samarchitaha
Tvayavaham
Samarjita
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Viditva Tava Chaityam Me
Viditva Tava Chaityam Me
Raiva Samayojitat
Puraiva Samayojitat
Yadartham Atman Yamais
Atman Yamais
Tvayavaham Samarchitaha
Tvayavaham Samarjitaha. Anyone want to try?
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Viditva Tva Chaitam Yame
Viditva Tava Chaityam Me
Puriva Samayotat
Puraiva Samayojitat
Adart Yadartam Atma Niyamais
Yadartham Atman Yamais
Tvaviyam Samarchita
Tvayavaham
Samarjita. You don't have to. But it would be nice. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Puraiva Samayojitat Yadartham Atman Yamais Tvayavaham Samarjita.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Viditva Tva Chaitanya Me
Viditva
Chaityam Me
Puraiva Samayoti Tat
Puraiva Samayojitat
Yad Ataram Atma Nyamais
Yadartham Atman Yamais
Tvaivaham Samarichita
Tvayavaham Samarchita.
Okay, so then we take word for word. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
The Supreme Lord said,
The Supreme Lord said
Viditva,
Viditva
understanding,
understanding
Tava,
Tava
your,
your
Chaityam,
Chaityam,
mental condition.
mental condition.
Me,
Me,
by me.
by me.
Pura,
Pura,
previously.
previously.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
certainly.
Samayoji,
Samayoji,
was arranged.
was arranged.
Tat,
Tat,
that.
that.
Yat artham,
Yat artam,
for the sake of which.
for the sake of which.
Atma,
Atma,
of the mind and senses.
of mind and senses.
Niyamaihi,
Niyamaihi,
by discipline.
by discipline.
Tvaya,
Vaya,
by you.
by you.
Eva,
Eva,
only.
only.
Aham,
Aham,
I.
I.
Samarchitaha,
Samadhita,
have been worshipped.
have been worshipped.
Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in His Paramatma feature is situated in everyone's heart. He knows, therefore, the past, present, and future of every individual person, as well as his desires, activities, and everything about him. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that He is seated in the heart as a witness. The Personality of Godhead knew the heart's desire of Kardama Muni, and He had already arranged for the fulfillment of his desires. He never disappoints a sincere devotee, regardless of what he wants, but He never allows anything which will be detrimental to the individual's devotional service. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttavpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Prarijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastachya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditvata Vachaityam Me Puraiva Samajoditat Yat Artam Atmaniyamais Tvayevaham Samarjita. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline. So we are at the third canto. Third canto is where we will be introduced to a plenary expansion of Krishna named Kapiladev, who taught the philosophy of taught Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya, the philosophy of putting all the parts apart and then study the minute parts. It's just like modern science. You put everything apart and then you study the parts and how they relate to each other and the cause and effect between each other. So Kapiladev will appear further. He will be the son of Kardama Muni, who has been worshipping Krishna to get his desire fulfilled. So this chapter is called "The Lord is Fulfilling Karmas." This chapter is about how the Lord is reciprocating with his devotees. We see that through the whole Bhagavatam. This is what Bhagavatam is supposed to teach us, how the Supreme Lord, the cause of all causes, is reciprocating with those who have devoted their lives to him. So here we will see an example. Kardama Muni, as we know, is one of those who will put the living entities to the world. He is one of the great rishis coming from Lord Brahma. So here, Kardama Muni, though being a strong rishi and being a transcendentalist, desired a wife. So he did his meditation for this purpose. And it may not seem like a transcendental desire, because if you're aiming for transcendence, it means that you want to get free from material existence. You want to understand that you're not this material body and then go home, back to Godhead. So this is a little contradictory. Why is he desiring something of this world when he wants to transcend it? The thing is that this is not a material desire, because Kardama Muni is very humble. He sees the desire in his heart, and he prays to the Lord that please fulfill this desire of mine, so that I can progress in my spiritual advancement. So then it becomes spiritual. So here the Lord, he's saying here that he knows what is in his mind. He has known this all along. And now that Kardama Muni has really shown his devotion, then the Lord is very happy to fulfill this desire of his. So this is where we are at now. Kardama Muni has finished his long 1,000 years of austerities, and now the Lord has decided to come down and fulfilling his desires. So this is what is going to happen now is a conversation between Swayambhava Manu and Kardama. So Swayambhava Manu will come to Kardama Muni with his daughter Devahuti, who is also ready for marriage and is a proper partner for Kardama Muni. So now this great rishi Kardama and the great king Swayambhava Manu will then meet, and then they will have a discussion. So now, just prior to that, Lord Krishna is saying that you just wait here, and then this great king, Swayambhava Manu, with his wife will come, with your future wife. So this story is told to Vidura, the great Vidura. You know Vidura? Vidura is very known in the Mahabharata. He's a great, he is a well-wisher of the Pandavas and the brother of Dhritarashtra. So here he is listening to Maitreya Rishi. He wanted to know about the great Swayambhava Manu and the appearance of Kapila Dev from Devahuti. So Vidura here is listening to what Maitreya has to say. So this is a important aspect of developing our Krishna consciousness, which is repeated again and again and again. Prabhupada is mentioning this in so many places in his books and his talks. The value of listening, of hearing about transcendental subjects. The question is, how do I become a devotee of Krishna? It all starts with the transcendental sound vibration and the importance of it. And Vidura here, we can really learn from Vidura. What does he want to do? Vidura wants to hear about the Lord, about his devotees and those who have put down their lives for him. So we can see where Vidura where his values lies. Vidura is not interested in gossip. He's not interested in worldly events. He's not interested in what his boss did in his failing in management. He's not talking about what this person did wrong, what this president did wrong, what war is going on now. Vidura is not wasting his time. He wants to hear what is important. We can see that he wants, and this is the culture actually of the Vedic culture, that they want to listen to important things that is important for now and for the future. If you read books like Mahabharata and Ramayana, none of them are wasting time. If you see how the great saintly persons in Indraprastha, in Hastinapur, in their meetings between the kings, it's always down to business. Why are we here? What are we going to discuss about? They only speak words that are relevant and on point in how to execute their duties, their service. And then they leave and they do what they're supposed to do. So this is the culture actually. So Vidura here is doing the right thing. What is proper, what is important? Krishna is important. I want to hear about him. I want to hear about the people who have served him well. So this is the kind of mood that which we have to develop. We have to cultivate a desire to hear about Krishna, to hear his holy names, to hear lectures like these, and become hungry for these kind of topics. And it may not be like that in the beginning, we know that. But as I said, we have to cultivate it by proper practice and a desire. We will get this desire to hear more. But because our minds, material minds, is made in such a way that it wants to hear about nonsense things, then naturally that's what we go for. So now the mind has spontaneous devotion to material matters. It's not raganuga bhakti, it's raganuga bhoga. So therefore, we have to tell the mind what we should be hearing by the intelligence. In the Upanishads, there is this example that the senses are compared to horses, and then the driver is compared to the intelligence, which is holding the senses by the mind, which is the leashes, what it's called, yes. And then the soul is what's the name? The passenger, yes. So what does this mean? It means that we have to choose properly. Because the senses want their enjoyment, they want their satisfaction, but it needs to be controlled by the intelligence, steering the horses. Now we don't have any horses, and we don't have a chariot. Don't have a chariot either. So how can we relate to this? We can actually relate to this by looking at the people outside walking their dogs. It's a perfect example of the relationship between the mind and the intelligence. Because the dog is not so much different from the horses. The horses also wants to go where they want to go, do what they want to do. The dog wants to do the same thing. It wants to sniff here and there. It wants to see where this male dog has, marked his environment, his space for the female dogs. That's their system, their culture. So they will see the dog wants to do what it wants to do, but the owner of the dog keeps it in a leash because the owner knows the whole purpose of the walk, to go out there, finish the business, and then get back to the house. So here he knows what is to be done and then do it. The dog he's just doing what it feels like. So that's our mind, that's our senses. It wants to look at this, it wants to go out on YouTube, it wants to go out on Netflix, it wants to have this kind of snack, it wants to, it don't want to work out, it wants to take a cheat meal, take an extra pizza, even though you should not because it's bad for your health, but the mind wants to. This is the nature of the mind. It feels, it thinks, and then it acts upon that, and us humans are just carried out by that. Even though the intelligence might say that this is a bad idea, it doesn't matter. That the mind can be so strong, it silences the intelligence, and then we do stupid things, which we will regret later. So we have to make the proper decisions, and we have to be conscious of what is going on in the mind and then decide what we should do. So we have to learn, we have to teach the mind what we want to do and what we should do. That when we hear topics about Krishna, we will like it, and we will want to hear more, and we should hear more, and we should be desperate to hear more. And sooner or later, the mind will listen. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 6, Arjuna is saying, you cannot control the mind. It's more difficult to control the mind, is more difficult to control the wind. But Krishna says, yes, but it is possible through proper practice and detachment. It is possible. So hearing about Krishna and his holy names is like a medicine in the beginning. You know, we don't want to take the medicine, you want to take the candy. And this is natural, but we have to change the habit. We just have to change it. Welcome to Krishna consciousness. This is a culture where we learn to change. We must change. If we are experiencing the problems of material world, it means that we have developed the habits which makes us suffer. So we have to change the habits. We have to change how we think, we have to change how we act. We have to change how we speak. And then we will relish the results of that. So therefore, my dear mind, I want to hear about Krishna. I want to hear about devotion. And you have to listen. So we can learn from Vidura, he's doing the right thing here. And so the Lord is fulfilling the desires of the devotees, he will. But he's fulfilling it in a way which we do not want it again. What we want to do is to fulfill our desires by our own means, isn't that right? We want to do the work. We want to get the money. And we want to buy the things. We want to get the things through our own means. This is entangling us. It is strengthening our false ego, and it is making us more proud by strengthening the belief that everything is depending on me and my own strength. This is not only making your heart more like stone, but it's also throwing you deeper into illusion, and it also brings you stress and anxiety. Because you will be thinking that everything depends upon me and my own abilities. And that will bring you stress, no doubt. And this is not true. It has never been true and will never be true. So therefore, it is better to devote yourself to Krishna and let him fulfill your desires. Because when he is doing it, you will be free from the desire and you will not take the reactions of your work. Even if it is like here, the example is given that Karma Muni was worshipping Krishna to get his wife. But it is recommended that a man worships Uma to get a wife. It is. According to Shastra, this is true. But he worshipped the Supreme Lord instead because Uma, being a very, very strong personality indeed, cannot give the ultimate liberation, because she is not supreme. She is also servant of Krishna. So therefore she may fulfill the material desire, but it may not mean that he will be free from the desire when he gets it. But because Karamuni here was worshipping Krishna, he is fulfilling his desire, but at the same time making him free of the desire. So this is what we want. So at the end of life, the person is free from material desires when he leaves his body. Not full of desires, more desires than before. Then he will be at a risk of falling down from human life, actually. So this is why it is so important. And this is also in line with the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says that offering to Vishnu must be performed, or else it will cause bondage. So here we see a connection between the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. They're not speaking different things, they're speaking the same thing. And here also, through this chapter, we will see how Krishna wants the union between man and woman to take place. That it should go through the recommendation, the blessings from the mother and father, and then the choice of the girl also. Prabhupada is actually in a Srimad Bhagavatam class elaborating on this topic, that when it comes to a choice of a husband, there must be, what was the word? It must be sanctions from three: the father, the mother, and the daughter. There must be sanction. The higher standard is that the father is giving the girl to suitable boy according to nature. They should have same psychological nature, or else obviously it will not work. If they have the same nature, it will be easier. It will not guarantee that the marriage will work, but it will be less fighting, because they have similar natures. They have something to talk about. And here it is arranged in this way that they are equal, Karma Muni and the daughter Devahuti. So it is a good match, perfect match. So it is sanctioned by Swayambhuva Manu and his, I think it's Shatarupa, the name of his wife, Shatarupa, is blessed by them, and the girl wants this boy also. She has the desire to have this boy. So now it is a good match. So now it is sanctioned. So this is the system which Krishna wants. After all, people will get married. They want to go together. They want to have families. So it must be done in a proper way, so that this union will be religious, divine, and that the offspring which is coming out will be a blessing for society at large. The opposite of this is Varna Sankara, unwanted population. Population which is not creating auspiciousness in society, but they're creating problems in society. This is not wanted. So therefore, this union between man and woman must be done in a proper way to stop this, or at least put it into a minimum. Today, divorce is just peanuts. It's very easy to do. Where I come from, it's done all the time. On the news, when I was staying in Sweden, it was saying that older couples are more likely to take divorce now. Very, very, it's happening. And they are figuring out why it is happening. And also younger couples are getting divorced. I know my cousin is getting divorced, even though they have a child. But it doesn't matter. They don't have this sense of duty that they should stay together. Even if there is a small child there, it doesn't matter. If they don't feel like it, it's over. But this is not creating a peaceful society, not at all. This is creating unnecessary disturbance for the child and the parents, especially for the child, because this sense of protection will not be there. And the children will suffer, and they will be unstable. And they will become boys, both boys will become men, and then they will create their disturbances, and girls also will also create their disturbances. So this is the problem with mental speculation, that I can just do what I want and it will work out. This is the problem with Dhritarashtra also. Dhritarashtra was told so many times of what he should do, so many times, that we should give the Pandavas their kingdom as they deserve. Then the Duryodhana and his brothers will get their kingdom, will have their kingdom, they will have their opulence, and they will live very nicely. They will, because they're part of the same family, and so naturally everything will work nicely. But Duryodhana could not, he just couldn't, because his problem was that if the Pandavas have it, I also want to have it. And if the Pandavas have it, they can't have it. I should have it. There was this constant envy of the Pandavas, even though Dhritarashtra told his son so many times, you already have so much opulence. You have more than you can consume in this very lifetime. What is the need of more? But no, the problem was that no, the Pandavas have it. I cannot tolerate that. It's just pure envy. And Dhritarashtra could not listen to the advice that give the Pandavas what they want and everything will be taken care of. Dronacharya was saying this. Bhishma Dev was saying this. Vidura was saying this, his closest brother. But Dhritarashtra could not listen because he was thinking about his son all the time. So he was controlled by his own son of what to do. And so... And Dhritarashtra was always thinking, this is the problem, that, yeah, I'm not doing the right thing, but maybe it will work out anyway. So this is the Kali Yuga mindset. That even though back in our heads, yeah, we're doing the wrong thing, but maybe it will work out anyway. And it never will, and it didn't for Dhritarashtra. It never did, even though he was hoping that maybe it will work out. You see, the first day of the Kurukshetra war, the Pandavas took a huge hit. They lost so many men on the first day. And the Yudhishthira Maharaj was very despondent. And Dhritarashtra was very happy to hear this. That, oh, it went well. Then maybe it will work out anyway. But as we know, it didn't. Dhritarashtra lost everything. All of his sons, all of his 100 sons. He lost them. So, this is the kind of illusion that I'm supposed to do this, but I can't because I have other important things to do. I should chant Hare Krishna, but I can't. I should read, but I can't. I should serve the devotees, but somehow I'm leaning towards this, which is not really devotional service, but hey, maybe it will work out anyway. Maybe I will remain Krishna conscious anyway. Somehow, it will work out. You're fooled. This is the Dhritarashtra problem. The Pandavas did the right thing, and they got results from it. Even though they got so much into trouble, at the end they did the right thing always. They chose virtue. And this is the perfect example of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He chose to follow virtue by doing what his senior told him to do, which was to participate in the gambling match. It was not Duryodhana's, it was his desire, but he fulfilled his desire through Dhritarashtra because he knew that Yudhishthira is virtuous, so therefore he is following his seniors. So he told his father to invite the Pandavas for a gambling match. In this way, Yudhishthira could not say no. Very smart. So therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he followed this vow of respecting his elders. And he lost the gambling match and all his brothers to slavery, even his own wife. But he didn't divert from the path of virtue. So he put everyone into misery by following this, by getting the brothers out in the forest, exiled for 13 years. But in the end, because he followed virtue, Krishna favored them. He did not favor Duryodhana. So we must build these habits of Krishna consciousness, to want to hear about Krishna, to follow the directions of Krishna and his devoted followers, Srila Prabhupada, who is teaching us how to live a Krishna conscious life in this age of Kali in a very simple way. The Vedic scriptures are very broad. The Vedic scriptures are covering everything. But here in ISKCON, we are just keeping to the essence that life is meant for self-realization, going back to Krishna, and we're doing what is necessary to get there. So even if we strive for spirituality 100%, all the material facilities will come with that. No problem. What's the time? I have to stop. I actually have more to say, but I have to stop there, unfortunately. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Do we have any questions or comments? Yes.
I have one fatalist question. I heard it. Well, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he is the source of all states of mind control, sense control, all these things you call habits of Krishna consciousness, and you spoke how we have to control the mind by the intelligence. And Krishna says in the 3rd and 4th verse of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me. The Sanskrit is Avanti Bhava Mutanana. They all come from Krishna. So, on one side, on one hand, we have Krishna in control of all these things, and on the other hand, we have the instruction that we should control all these things.
Mm-hmm.
How do we reconcile these two?
Yes, this is the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva situation. It is true, absolutely, that it is coming from him. But they will not take place unless we make the endeavor. And when we make the endeavor, he will give us these things. Because we cannot only sit and then think about them, and then they will manifest. Unless we'll make the endeavor, nothing will manifest. We have, even before we came to Krishna consciousness, we have made endeavors, and we have gotten results of those endeavors. that will still continue even if we practice in Krishna consciousness. That if we do something, something will manifest. But we should understand that we are not the source of them. We should understand that these are not appearing, they are appearing out of blessings, but because we made the endeavor, that's why the blessings are there. So, first, as Prabhupada said, first we must become conscious, then we become Krishna conscious. So a part of being conscious means that you must be conscious of what is going on in your mind and see where it is going, and then make endeavor to rectify it. And this can absolutely be done with prayer, but this can also be done with making the proper choice of what to do and what not to do. A lot of problems, obstacles, is because we tend to not do what we were supposed to do, and instead do what we're not supposed to do. And therefore we cannot sustain our sadhana, we cannot remain Krishna conscious. We cannot practice Krishna consciousness passively. We cannot read passively. We cannot listen to someone passively. We have to be active here and now in the present, being conscious of what we are doing right now and with the right mindset. And that's what is called endeavor. But nothing is sanctioned without the super soul. Upadrashtana mantacha bhakta bhokta maheshvara. So it is correct what you say, but here is achincha beda tibeda tattva. That we have, that nothing is ours, nothing is our own endeavors, that's the false ego, but at the same time there is something called endeavor. So we're not in control, but we can choose what to do. And it's kind of contradictory. And that's why it's called Achinta Beda Tattva, Haribol. So if we have problems with our practice, we cannot blame anyone else but ourselves and our own choices we make. I think that's the best answer I can give. Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Maybe we can also add to this, to the answer to his question.
Yes, yes.
You already started.
Yes, please.
We know to whom the things belong. It's not ours. And proper use of things, you have to use it for the proprietor for these things.
Yes, yes.
Intelligent on these things. This is proper use, otherwise you are misusing.
Yeah, exactly. So when we use these facilities
for our sense gratification, then it's misusing.
Yes, then it's misuse.
Krishna standing is everything is mine, it's not yours, but giving to you, you can use it in my service, not your service.
Yeah, and then when we use it for our own pleasure, the blessings will not be there. There won't be any blessings. So when we using these facilities for His pleasure, the blessings will come. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Is there anything else? Thank you so much for coming. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sadhu Sangha ki jai.